welcome back to Robbing Minds. Now, with the rise of the gig economy, you have people who do a 9 to 5 job but find time to have a side hustle, 1, 2, or 3 to generate multiple streams of income. And as the world and Nigeria included goes through some very tough times with inflation at record high levels, it's now the time for people to diversify, leverage their skills, and generate multiple streams of income. On Robbing Minds, I'm joined by a multiple income strategist in the person of Falake Omotoye. Falake, welcome to Robbing Minds.
Thank you so much.
So, side hustle, multiple streams of income. When did you become a multiple income strategist? That's the first time I'm hearing. I didn't even know something like this exists. What inspired this?
Okay. My name is Falake Omotoye, and I'm known as Side Hustle Boss. I used to work at PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Nigeria. I have 20 years audit experience working there, and 7 years, into working in PwC, I had the need to start a side hustle, or it's like an hobby, sewing dresses for my sisters, just like an hobby, using my old mommy's clothes. And before I knew it, people were asking for those dresses. I was selling them, and I was making a lot of money. And I had to define what exactly is this? Is this an hobby, or is this a side hustle? And before I knew it, I gave it a name. I used to call myself Babe for Life. The name of the store is Babe for Life Ankara. We're in Jabi Lake Mall and Palms Mall. And before I knew, I started selling. I moved from the house, started selling in stores, and that was it. So when I resigned 2 years ago from PwC, I was like, what's the next stage of my life? Should I still continue just audit? I love audits. I'm an accountant. What else could I add to this? And I'm like, okay, let me start teaching women how to improve their personal finance. Actually, in 2018, God had told me that I needed to do something for women, but I didn't take it serious. Before I knew it, I started talking about side hustles, savings, investments. Because I had the experience, it was so easy for me to get it started. So right now here, 2 years doing this.
Wow, very inspirational. You turned your passion to profit, and now it's become a career on its own.
Yes.
And then you're now helping other women in particular to be able to diversify their streams of income. Just listening to you, there came a turning point, which was 2 years ago, where you had to make the decision to serve one master, not two masters. When does it remain a side hustle, and when does it become maybe you're cheating on your first love, which is your main employer? How do you draw that line?
It starts with, you need to understand what the policy of your employer is about, because that's really very key, so that there's no conflict of interest when you're working. You need to respect the boundaries. And once you know what is expected, easy for you to streamline yourself. Usually your side hustle is based on your passion. And we were called to live our lives. You want to have fulfilling lives. You don't want to die, and still have things in you. I guess, with the side hustle, you're able to do a number of things. So if you're able to respect the boundaries, that helps, making sure that you understand the policy and there's no conflict of interest, you should be fine.
And what are popular side hustles, or what can a woman today, maybe who is engaged in a 9 to 5 job, and they're okay with them pursuing something outside of business hours? If you had to say like the top 5 most popular side hustles, what comes to mind?
Okay, because I run a side hustle community. It's called the 20K Club. And a number of people come to me and are like, oh, what are the businesses that people are doing out there? The most popular that I'm aware of, e-commerce. So a lot of people can sell on e-commerce in terms of sell on Amazon. You could sell, if you're creative, you could sell on Etsy. You could sell on Gigi. You could sell on Konga, and a number of social media platforms. Also, content creation is the in thing now, because as businesses grow, you need to put in marketing strategies to ensure that you're doing very well, and you need content creation to help you. So digital marketing, affiliate marketing, drop shipping, and tutoring is doing very well. People that understand, that can teach languages, math, English, there are different apps where people can actually sell, and these are some of the popular things that people are making. There's a lot of money because, especially in Nigeria, the population is wide. So a lot of people can actually venture into a number of side hustles to increase their income.
And do you need to go back to school to start some of these side hustles? Do you need to take courses? Do you need to equip yourself? Like, if somebody is watching and they say, okay, I want to start the side hustle right now, what do I need to be doing?
The first thing I will tell the person is, what are your skills? What are your interests? What are the things you love to do and you will do it without me paying you? Sometimes I'm unable, some people don't have answers to that. So they really need to think. Sometimes I tell them, go back, go and ask your friends, your family, what did they tell you about yourself? You also need to have strengths. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? For someone like me, I run away from anything that is mechanical. So you can't see me, repairing cars. So I stay in a place of strength. So what you should do, it depends. You can learn some of the skills. Some are inborn, but let your strength push your skills and try and make sure that you're solving a problem. Because if you're not careful, your side also can be an hobby. There's a thin line between hobby and activity and business. So you need to be very, very careful, making sure that your side hustle is going to be profitable. So it's this to solve a problem. You also need to identify the niche because you cannot be everywhere. You need to know, okay, I want to focus on women, I want to focus on men, I want to focus on this part of demography, whatever. So define yourself, define your space, and improve yourself. Research. There are a lot of places online, a lot of sites that you can use to improve yourself, a number of YouTube videos, a number of things that you can use to help yourself out there.
And when you decided you want to go into this side hustle, how much time do you need to give yourself before it starts generating money? Because the difference between a hobby and a side hustle that gives you money is how profitable it is with the amount of time you're putting in. So do you expect to start earning money from day one, or do you give yourself a year, 2 years, months?
So the answer to that is it depends.
Or should there be a cutoff line so this is a hobby and this is not really going to pay me?
And sometimes hobbies can actually translate into side hustles. So for me, it started like an hobby. I don't know how to sew, but I know how to design. I know how to I know how to design. I know how to. I like colors. I like Ankara, and so I'm like, oh, you can transition this and turn it around and see how that can turn into business. I also know how to market. So that was one of the skills and the strength I put in place.
So it varies. It could be 1 month, it could be 2 months.
So it could be a month, it could be more than that. But I like to tell everyone that with business you need to be very careful. One of the good things about side hustles is that because you have a main hustle, usually a side hustle augments a main hustle. So you can still rely on your main hustle while you work on your side hustle. You need to put in the structure in place. For me, I would always tell you, make sure that you have cash. If you say you want to leave your main hustle, you should make sure that you have enough cash to at least transition very well, maybe a year or two. And make sure that you're not doing it for a short time. Business it has a circle. So it could take, your own business might take 2 years or 3 years for you to have a proper understanding, while some might take a longer time. For me, it took me about 13 years before I was like, okay, I was making twice my salary in PwC. And I felt if I put in more time, I'm going to make much more than what I was making in PwC.
And so people need to look at their figures. People need to see that it's economically viable. How important is it to work with consultants in looking at the viability of a side hustle? Or do you just continue to observe and take things as they come?
You need to learn and unlearn. Like I said before, you have to research. It's so simple. The necessary numbers, financial numbers. What's your revenue? What's your gross profits? What are your costs? What are you spending more money on? What's your net profits? How much cash do you hold? How much stock do you have? You don't really have to talk to an accountant or a consultant before you are knowledgeable about some of these numbers. And one thing you need to know, once you see growth, you feel it, you see it, you know that yes, it has gotten to this stage. This business needs me full time.
And what are some common pitfalls that people who engage in side hustles tend to face, and maybe even they get discouraged and decide, you know what, this side hustle thing is not for me? And Is it possible that not everyone will have a side hustle and not everyone should have a side hustle?
Okay, so good question because I get it a lot. The first pitfall is there's a copycat syndrome. So you see your friend or your neighbor, they bought a new car because they are selling air, you decide to want to sell air. You see your friends doing this particular business, you assume that there's money there, you jump into it. And that's not how businesses should have. So a lot of people make those mistakes. You're supposed to do a bit of visibility study. And as the business progresses, you know more about it and you improve on it. As some of the pitfalls also include structure. People don't put the right structure in place. There's a lot of conflicts between even the side hustle and the main hustle. You're in the office, you're taking a call, customer call. You've not put in things in place. Someone like me, I remember in PwC, I had the store in Jabi Lake Mall, and I had cameras, so I knew what was happening. I had an accounting software, I had the people, so it was easy for me to monitor, even though I wasn't physically there. So these are some of the things that people need to put in place. Another thing is people, like I said, we look at it like hobbies. We don't set out that, oh, I want to make money from this. This thing can be the next Netflix. This thing can be the next Amazon. We just think small and say, okay, let me feel comfortable in this main hustle and not just, go into a side hustle.
And finally, can everybody have a side hustle, or should everyone have a side hustle, or some people should just stay on their day job?
When I speak to certain people, they'll tell you, I can only do 9 to 5. I'm not built to have a side hustle. And I disagree. I think we're all born to sell. When you came to the world, you didn't come with anything. You need to prove yourself. You probably need to speak to me first before you know what is in me. So we all have, even if you are working an IT unit of a firm, you are selling to the audience in that firm. So usually side hustle, you're supposed to have a focus on your passion, how you can turn it around and fulfill your dreams. I think everyone, because even the way the country is going, I think everyone should have a side gig, something that would give you fulfillment, not just money.
Thank you very much, Folake Omotoye, multiple income strategist, for sharing on the business of side hustle. I was glad having you on Rubbing Minds.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
My name.
Don't just stand there teasing me. Now it's time to show it through.